equation that I have written on the board is x squared minus 5x minus 36 equals 0. At this point, the equation is now a quadratic equation. Therefore, we can now solve the equation. Now, we will choose among the four methods, extracting the square roots, factoring, completing the square, and the formula. Based on this form, we can use factoring because as I can see here, the last term, negative 36, is a composite number with many factors. And then 2 factors of 36, when we subtract, it can be 5. So we can now write here 2 sets of parentheses and then just copy equals 0. And then we first factor out x squared by writing x times x. Now, since the last term is negative, we have negative 36, we should write one factor as positive while the other one is negative because once we multiply two numbers with opposite signs, the result is negative. Now, we think of two numbers. Once we multiply, the product is 36, and once we subtract, the answer, the difference is 5. What are those two numbers? We have 9 and 4. Okay? We can think that 36 is equivalent to 9 times 4. 9 times 4 equals 36. And since 36 is negative, there should be one negative between 9 and 4. Which one is negative? 9 or 4? You can unmute your mic. Okay, the negative one should be the 9. Why? Why should be the negative number is 9 and not 4? Who can give the reason? Please unmute your mic if you have an idea. Or you can use our chat box. Okay, the reason why 9 should be negative is that the second term is negative 5. So that once we add negative 5 plus 4, it will give us the sum negative 5. And that is the second term. So we can now write here, this should be 4 and this is 9. To give us negative 36 as the product and the sum is negative 5. And now, our next step is to use the zero product property. The zero product property, which tells us to separate the two factors. We can now write the equation x plus 4 is equal to 0. The other one is x minus 9 is equal to 0. Separate the two factors in order to get the two values of x. The first value of x, which can be named as x of 1, is equivalent to negative 4 because we will transfer 4 from left to right, while the second value of x is positive 9. Therefore, we have negative 4 and positive 9 as the roots or the solutions for this equation. X times the quantity x minus 5 is equal to 36. At first, it is not quadratic, but we transform it to quadratic form in order to get the two answers. Hello? The second example is find the roots of the equation. This is the equation. I write the equation on the board. The quantity x plus 5 squared plus the quantity x minus 2 squared is equal to 37. So this is the given equation in the second example. X plus 5 squared plus x minus 2 squared is equal to 37. So at first, it is not written in the standard form of quadratic equation. So we need first to write it in the standard form. Now, this binomial is squared. X plus 5 is squared, as well as x minus 2, it is also squared. So we need first to expand these two binomials using the product of binomials, or square the binomial x plus 5 and x minus 2. To square x plus 5, we can follow the short method. First, square the first term. So we will get x squared. X squared is from squaring x. Now, since the sign is positive, we simply copy positive. And then the next term here will be the product of first and second term times 2. Multiplying 2 is constant once you square a binomial. So x times 5 is 5x times 2 will give us 10x. 10x, again, 10x is from multiplying x times 5 equals 5x. And then times 2, constant yung pag-multiply ng 2 every time you are squaring a binomial. The third term is the square of the second term. Square 5, 25. So, the trinomial x squared plus 10x plus 25 is from the square of x plus 5 squared. Then, copy the addition. Now, this time, we will do the same in x minus 2. The same step we done here in x plus 5 squared will also be done here in x minus 2. So first, square x. We have x squared. Next, multiply x and negative 2. X times negative 2 is negative 2x times 2 is negative 4x. Next, square negative 2. Negative 2 times negative 2, positive 4. So, the trinomial x squared minus 4x plus 4 is from squaring x minus 2 squared. Then, copy equals 37. Now, we have 6 terms on the left side, 6 terms. Those 6 terms can be simplified by combining those terms which are similar. The first terms which are similar are x squared and x squared. So x squared plus x squared will give us 2x squared. Next, the term 10x is similar to negative 4x. When you say similar, both of them contain the same variable x. So 10 minus 4, 6. So positive, you write positive 6 and copy the variable x. And then 25 and 4 can also be combined by adding 25 plus 4 plus 29 equals 37. Next, we transfer 37 from right to left. So we write 2x squared plus 6x plus 29 minus 37 equals 0. Continue. We have 2x squared plus 6x. We will now combine 29 and 37 by subtraction. So 37 minus 29 is 8. Sign is negative because 37 is bigger than 29. So negative 8 equals 0. Now at this point, you can see that we have now a trinomial 2x squared plus 6x minus 8 equals 0. This is now a quadratic equation. We have 2x squared plus 6x minus 8 equals 0. Now, we now apply factoring again. We will now apply factoring. Let us try factoring the trinomial. So, we can now write 2 binomials equals 0. 2x squared will be 2x times x. Now, 8 will be 4 and 2. Since negative, we can now write here 4 and 2. And then positive, negative. We have 2x minus 2 times x plus 4. If we check, 2 times 4 equals 8. Negative, 2 times 4 equals 8 minus 2, 6. And negative 2 times 4 equals negative 8. Zero product property, 2x minus 2 equals 0. And x plus 4 equals 0. Then 2x is equal to negative 2 will become positive 2. Divide both sides by 2. So the first value of x is 1, while the second value is negative 4. The answers are 1 and negative 4. Now, that is the solution in your book. Now let us try here. Let us try, for example, the equation 2x squared plus 6x minus 8 equals 0. You will notice here that 2, 6, and 8 are all divisible by 2. Let us try dividing first by 2. Let us try dividing both sides of the equation by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. So we will now get x squared plus 6 divided by 2 is 3, 3x, minus 8 divided by 2 is 4, equals 0 divided by 2 is 0. Now, at this point, we cannot factor out. And this will be easier to factor out compared to the first solution. X times x, 4. 4 is negative, so there should be one positive and one negative. 4 and 1 are the factors. We place here 4 and we place here 1 because we have positive 3. Zero product property, x equals negative 4, x equals 1. We will obtain exactly the same answers. The only difference of this solution, the one that I have written here, is that we divide it by 2 first, the quadratic equation, in order to simplify it first. Unlike here, we did not divide the equation by 2. We immediately factor it out using 2x minus 2 and x plus 4. You may choose between these two solutions. Both of them are correct. We have the equation 6 over x plus the binomial is x minus 3 as the numerator all over 4 is equal to 2. We have this equation, third example, 6 over x plus x minus 3 all over 4 equals 2. For this case, if the equation is like this, our main goal is to remove the fraction first, to remove x in the denominator as well as 4. We can only do that by using the least common denominator, the LCD. In this case, the LCD here is the product of the two denominators. Just simply multiply x and 4 to find the LCD. Therefore, the LCD here in this example is 4x. Okay? We need to multiply the entire equation, both sides, with that LCD in order to remove the fraction. Okay? Now, multiply every term. We consider 6 over x as one term, and we consider x minus 3 all over 4 as another term. Let's multiply 4x. 4x is in the numerator. We can cancel out x here. So 4x times 6 over x, cancel out x. What remains is 4 times 6, which will give us 24. Plus, now for the second term, once we multiply 4x and x minus 3 all over 4, what will be cancelled out is 4. Because 4 here is the numerator, 4 here is the denominator. We cancel out 4. What remains is x. So x times the binomial x minus 3 equals, we also do the same on the right side to maintain the equality. 2 times 4x is 8x. So at this point, as you can see, there is no fraction here. In this equation, the fractions were removed because of the use of the LCD 4x. Continue the solution by distributing x. We just copy 24. We distribute x times x squared. X times negative 3x equals 8x. Now, we transfer 8x from this side, from the right to the left. We can now rearrange the term by writing first x squared as the first term, followed by negative 3x, and then followed by transferring 8x, negative 8x is equal, there's still plus. We need to write plus 24 equals 0. The term 8x was transferred from right to left, therefore there's no term on the right side. We need to place 0. Simplify this equation by writing x squared minus 11x plus 24 is equal to 0. Here, we can now see that the equation is a quadratic equation in standard form. Next step, we choose factoring again because this equation can be factored out. So we use x times x for the first terms, x times x. Now take note of this. The quadratic equation has alternating signs. The first term x squared is positive. The second term is negative. The third term is positive. If the case is like that, always remember that both factors should be negative. To get negative times negative, positive. Negative plus negative, negative. Think of two numbers. When you multiply, the product is 24. Once you add, the sum is 11. 24 is a composite number, meaning it has many factors. It can be 24 times 1. It can also be 12 times 2. It can be 6 times 4. It can be 8 times 3. Can you think of other factors? Okay, so those are some examples of the factors of 24. Now, among these factors, among these pairs of numbers, we choose which one will give us 11 once we add. Correct, Eliza, 8 times 3. 24 plus 1 is 25, not 11. So, cancel this out. 12 plus 2 is 14, not 11. 6 plus 4 is 10, not 11. Only 8 plus 3 will give us 11. Therefore, 8 and 3 are the correct numbers to be placed here. Zero product property is the next step. Zero product property. X minus 8 equals 0. X minus 3 equals 0. X of 1, the first value of x is 8. The second value of x is 3. Therefore, we have 8 and 3 as the solutions or roots of this equation. 6 over x plus x minus 3 all over 4 equals 2. The given equation is x plus 8 over x minus 2 is equal to 1 plus 4x all over or over x minus 2. So that is the given equation. So it is not yet in quadratic form because we cannot see a term containing x squared. So we will first need to use LCD again. LCD. Here, the LCD is the binomial x minus 2. So we multiply both sides of the equation with the LCD, which is x minus 2. X minus 2, both sides, x minus 2. Okay, take note that x is one term. X is one term. 8 over x minus 2 is another term. So what? First term, second term. Both of these two terms will be multiplied with the binomial x minus 2. So first, we multiply x, the first term x, with the LCD x minus 2. Plus, once we multiply x minus 2, which is in the numerator, with the fraction 8 over x minus 2, we will cancel out x minus 2. What remains is 8. We have 8. Equals, same here, 1 times x minus 2 is x minus 2, plus, if you multiply 4x over x minus 2, x minus 2 will be cancelled. What remains is 4x. Okay. At this point, as you can see, there is no fraction in the equation because we use the LCD x minus 2 in order to remove those fractions. Distribute x here, x times x, x squared. So we have now the term containing x squared minus 2x plus 8 equals x. We can now combine. X and 4x can be combined because they are similar. It will give us 5x minus 2. Transfer these two terms to the left side. X squared minus 2x. Let us first write negative 5x plus 8. Transfer positive 2 equals 0. Okay, next we have now x squared Add these two because they are both negative. Negative 7x. Add 8 and 2, 10 equals 0. Now, we have now the quadratic equation in standard form. X squared minus 7x plus 10 equals 0. Next, factoring. Let us factor out. X times x is x squared. 10 is a composite number. And again, the signs are alternating. Therefore, we can now write both negative 5 and 2. Because negative 5 times negative 2 is positive 10. Negative 5 plus negative 2, negative 7. Zero product property. X of 1 is 5. X of 2 is 2. The solutions are 5 and 2. Okay? Any questions?
Wala po, ma'am.
Okay, so those are some examples of how we solve Okay. Now take note of the term extraneous root or solution. Take note of this answer too. This one. We consider this as extraneous root. Why? Okay. It is obviously an extraneous root because if we replace it in the equation, if we replace it here, it will become 2 minus 2. If we replace x with 2, 2 minus 2, 0. And then denominator of 0 is still undefined in math. So we can only consider that 5 is a solution, but 2 is an extraneous root or solution of this equation. Okay? It is not a solution of the original equation. But it is a solution of this quadratic equation. X squared minus 7x plus 10 equals 0. But not of the original equation, which is in fractional form. Okay? Okay, now solving problems involving quadratic equation. There are some problems which are written in worded problem, word form, and then we can transform them into mathematical statement in order to solve the problem. Let us take, for example, on page 90. Page 90. A rectangular table has an area of 27 square feet and a perimeter of 24 feet. What are the dimensions of the table? Okay. In this question or problem, you always take note that there are two important terms to be taken consideration. First is area, the other one is perimeter. And if we look back to the formula to find the area, we all know that area of a rectangle can be obtained by multiplying the two dimensions, length and width. And the perimeter can be obtained by adding all sides of the polygon. So, we can now move on to sum and product. Okay? The lesson that we obtained last time, sum and product. Because as we all know, area is a product. And then perimeter is a sum. Sum is for perimeter with the formula of 2L plus 2W. So to find the sum of length and width, factor out 2 length plus width, the sum of length and width. If the perimeter is given to be 24, divide 24 by 2, the answer is 12. 12 is the sum of length and width. And then the product means area which is length times width. Length times width. In this case, it is given to be 27. So the sum is 12. And then the product is 27. There are two numbers once you add 12 and once you multiply 27. Those two numbers are 9 and 3. 9 plus 3 is equal to 12. 9 times 3 is equal to 27. So these two numbers make it true that the sum is 12, product is 27. Therefore, length is 9 and width is 3.